It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like a horse with blinkers.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name's Keenan, I'm 17 and I'm currently finishing up my matric and I'm at Bishop's Dawson College.
I'm Nasser de Kock. I'm 18 years old in matric at Bishop's. I play rugby and I'm also into art.
My name is Ubaidullah Samsuri. I'm matriculated at Bishop's Dawson College as well.
I'm Isaiah Sonpatha. I'm 17. I'm also in matric.
Okay, so I'm a Muslim, which means I follow the faith of Islam. And Islam is basically a walk of life because everything you do should be for the sake of God, no matter what it is, no matter how small it is, in every step of your day.
I'm also a Muslim boy. I practiced a lot and I practiced religion a lot in my junior years. But now in the senior years, I realized that I started fading a lot. And now I find myself questioning about religion a lot. So I wouldn't say I'm as practicing at the moment, but yeah, I think I do question religion a lot. I feel very welcomed in my community, especially because I'm from a suburb outside Athlone, Pontyville, and there's a lot of Muslim people in that community, and I think that's a result of the hardships where they tend to a spiritual kind of being to as a part of escape mechanisms. So I do feel very welcome when I go to my community and also in school.
Cape Town has the largest Muslim population in all of South Africa. So if you move outside of Cape Town, I think it's a bit more difficult to find other Muslims or be able to practice your faith because there aren't that many mosques.
In Islam, we call everyone our brothers and sisters. So there's this sense of unity. And so in Cape Town, I'll definitely say that the Muslim community is quite strong. And so if I see other people family around Cape Town, I'd say that it's a strong sense of togetherness, yeah.
In the broader aspect of South Africa, I think we could do better to educate people.
Yeah. No, I think in the majority of the places in South Africa, I think there are people that are very accepting of Islam, because when we went on our rugby tour, we went down to Nelspruit in Mpumalanga, and there was this family that catered for us halal food, and it was very cool. We also had a mosque close to the rugby field, so we went to that mosque on Fridays, and it was quite welcoming. It was quite a welcoming space. So I'd say in the broader scheme of things, majority of places in South Africa, I think, does accept Muslims and their religion, and I'd say that there's very few places that doesn't.
I think Islam in South Africa is very much respected. I mean, the MJC is part of the parliament, which is the judicial council. So I think we're quite well represented in that faculty. But obviously, there are small pockets in the community where Islam is underrepresented, like Rondebosch or other white communities where there probably aren't that many Muslims.
So in Pontyville, where I'm from, there's a lot of mosques everywhere. There's mosques 5 minutes away from each other, so it is quite easy to practice your religion. And then just in school, in terms of school, I would say it's easy for the boarders to practice their religion because, I mean, they could just pray in their room or in their cube. But I feel for day birds, it's a bit more harder because they don't have that space just to practice their religion.
Yeah.
And that's also some of the things we're trying to aim to get towards, is to get a prayer room for everyone in school, not just Muslims, all the religions, where they could just have the quiet time and then pray in their own time. Yeah.
I'm not part of the Muslim community. I am just one of the leaders along with Nasser of the school. I'm head of the Student Representative Forum. And I think it's important for us just to say we are working on a Muslim society at our school at Bishop. And less than being a member of the Muslim community, I'm just helping Nasser and Ubaid set up that society.
On that note, what made you sort of decide to come to a Christian school?
For me, it wasn't sort of choice because I applied for the Alan Gray Scholarship, and whatever school they sent us to, that was the final say. And if we were to change school, the scholarship. So I think So I didn't really have much of a choice, but I am very, very grateful for the experiences that Bishops has given me, even though it came with some hard challenges. So yeah, it wasn't really much of a choice to come to Christian school, but also even if I had the choice, I think I'm quite well rooted in my Islamic beliefs to persevere through the college.
For me, I'd say that I didn't really think of Bishops as a Christian school. I think of it more as a institution with like fine like academic values and stuff like that. So I was more into the academic side of things. So I didn't think about the Christianity kind of ethos that the school has. So yeah, it was just the institution that Bishops is that made me come here. It wasn't like the fact that it was a Christian school, and I didn't really think about things like that. And it's not really affecting me in any way. So yeah, I wouldn't say that was something that influenced my decision coming to Bishops.
I don't have anything as my choice, but I think one of the things that we do struggle with is that an argument that is often made is kind of a question that boys will ask Muslim students and students of other faiths. If you want a place where you can pray and you want a place that's kind of accepting and teaches about Islam, you should have chosen, why did you come to a Christian school? And I think the biggest issue is that like a lot of boys, as Ubaid said, didn't have a choice. Their parents either wanted to send them to the best school academically and for sports, or they are on scholarship where, and a lot of our Muslim community are actually on scholarships or on bursaries. So I think that's quite a meaningless argument that people make to kind of try and diminish the voice that Muslim students have in our school.
In my youth, there wasn't that much. Well, there was a period from like grade 5 to 7, I'd say, when I wasn't that much of a practicing Muslim. So coming to Bishops, where Islam was literally not that much known among students, I think grade 8 was when my career started as like a Muslim, to practice and teach other boys what Islam truly was, because there were lots of jokes sort of thrown around of and things like that, and all Muslims are like Pakistani or whatever. So that was when I started practicing Islam, to show them what it truly means to be a Muslim. And I think the hardship that I faced at Bishop has truly built me as a person, especially with regard to my religion.
Do you feel like people within your dorm, like, or like, let's say within your boarding house or whatever, like weren't necessarily educated on like why or how you practice being a Muslim, and like that's sort of how that sort of affected you as a person, or how people saw you as a person at school?
I think the lack of knowledge of Islam is quite great in the Bishops community. Boys coming from the prep, for example, they weren't taught religious like I was, like during LO or life skills, which like really is the basis of your teachings for other religions. So they were quite to the fact that I had to pray 5 times a day. When I had to pray, they were loud and obnoxious sometimes. And this all took time for me to instill within them that they actually need to be quiet, pray, and things like that.
Also, adding on to what Ubaid said, like Bishops, some people at Bishops aren't taught enough about religious studies. This is also one of the aims that our society is trying to do. We're trying to educate people, and it's like a safe place, and the main objective of the society is to educate those people so that they can make it more welcoming for Muslims.
The biggest issue we have is that obviously the demographic of boys at our school, religiously, racially, is really unequal to what the demographic of the country is. And then of course, on a smaller scale than that, then the SRF being a representation of the whole school, obviously a very swayed demographic where it's made up of very few Muslim boys, very few Black boys, very few colored boys, of course, all the different racial groups, and of course religious groups. So I think the opinions of the boys who personally experience the struggles of what it is to be a practicing Muslim boy kind of gets subdued and covered over by the majority's opinion of how they view life at school.
On that point of like, in terms of like change and whatnot at the school, are you made to practice Christianity at the school? Like, do they make you go to chapel? Is there a chapel service in the morning?
We have to go to chapel every day, except for Wednesdays. Obviously, there's no chapel. And I wouldn't say that they kind of
Force you, so to speak.
like force us to be Christian or whatever, but they do teach us some of the Christian values, which are quite like it does help us also, because it doesn't force us to be Christian, but it does teach us some like core values of being a human, I'd say. And so I wouldn't say they force us to be Christian, but it is quite cool.
So I don't mean to phrase it as like forcing you to be Christian. I mean like sort of forcing you to attend chapel, or forcing you to sort of attend, like, let's say I think Bishops has a what do you call it, a religious studies lesson in grade 8 and 9, like and sort of how that plays into like you wanting to practice Islam, whereas you're being sort of like forced to listen to sort of Christian teaching.
I think as a Bishop's boy, all of us are forced to go to chapel and to attend some of those classes. And I don't see any problem with attending those, because you're just getting like insight from a different religion, like you're getting educated on that religion. So I don't see anything wrong with that. But we are, as a Bishop's boy, I think we are forced like to attend those like gatherings.
And then also the point of the religious studies, grade 8 to grade 9. Some of the classes they teach you about other religions, but see how a pastor can teach you about Judaism or Islam. So I really think they need the involvement of other religious communities to teach those values to the students, because what does a pastor know about Hinduism or Judaism or Islam?
Like when we have our Ramadan and we have Eid and all of those type of things, like our special days, many of the people at the school don't even know what those important days mean. And I feel like in those lessons, it's very easy to educate boys on that. And so like Ubaid said, if we get our sheikh, our priest involved in like teaching those type of essentials, like those basic information, that will also help a lot.
My dream is for more Muslim boys at Christian schools in general to be accepted into a community where they can sort of feel welcome at the school, despite the fact that the school may differ from what their actual religion is.
My dream is that boys who are different to the majority of boys at the school will be able to come through and not experience the discrimination that we have had to experience based on the color of our skin and, of course, our religions, and they can feel accepted.
My dream is to study surgery, neurosurgery. And my hope would be to help the underprivileged communities, because neurosurgery does cost a lot of money, and definitely seeing a neurosurgeon costs a fortune. Most people in my community definitely can't afford it.
My dream is to create more opportunities for people in impoverished areas to get out of that poverty, because I know it's very hard to work your way out of like poverty as it is. And my hope would be just to know that I've like made a difference in my community, because that is something that I hold quite close to my heart.
Z, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.